Oh yes, attachments. The thing that we all want on our guns all the time in every FPS game, whether that's Call of Duty, Battlefield 2042, with their weird attachment system where you just always have them all just there. Anyways, in this FPS tutorial series, we're going to also have attachments, so I will show you how to put them onto your gun and how to customize it so that whatever gun you put into the world, you can basically put whatever attachments you want on them. And that also is the case for the guns that spawn in your own hands. You can have whatever attachments you want. And if you have not seen the last video, which is where we did all of our gun data, you will definitely need to go back and watch that video. Not only do you get all the static meshes for all of the attachments and all the other data that you're going to need to reference in this video, but you also where to set up all of the sockets for the attachment system here. So definitely go check that video out if you have not seen it already. If you've come from that video, welcome back. Let's get started on this attachment system. Alrighty, so what we'll need to do first is we'll need to create a couple of things here. So let's go into our weapons folder. And so we have a weapon class here. All of our weapon related things are going to be done inside this weapon class. You could also make a component, but in this particular project, we're not making any other types of weapons other than guns. But if you have a game that has like a turret or, you know, something that you can mount and operate and stuff like that, making a weapon component might be a bit of a better move, just so you can store all of the like firing logic and all that kind of stuff in the weapon component, and then you can transfer that to anything other than guns. But in this particular tutorial, like I said, we're just doing guns, so I'm going to do everything inside our weapon class here. We do need to make blueprints for all of our attachments. So if we go back to our weapons, meshes, attachments, let's make a new blueprint class, and we're gonna have it be an actor, and we're gonna call this BP attachment class. Okay, we're gonna create 4 subclasses for this, and so we're gonna create a child blueprint class, and we're gonna call it BP underscore site attachment class, and we'll duplicate that, and we're gonna do BP underscore scope attachment class. I forgot the last S on there. There we go. Duplicate that once again. We'll do one for what happened. All right, there it is. For grip, and finally for barrel. All right, so those 4 are made. So this is going to be the master blueprint for all of the attachments. So we're going to add some stuff into there. And then each individual one, we want to just recognize that this is part of a class specifically for the grips and specifically for any of these other ones. Okay, so for barrel attachment, we will need to right-click and create a child blueprint class of just the barrel attachment. So we're going to do BP barrel. Did I spell barrel wrong on the other one too? I did. Silly me. Barrel underscore, we'll say compensator. And then we're going to duplicate that and do BP underscore barrel underscore silencer. Okay. And we'll need to do the same thing for all of them. So we got the barrel compensator, silencer, the actual attachment class, and then now we're going to do the grip class. So we're going to right click, create blueprint class, and we will do blueprint or BP underscore grip underscore flashlight, and duplicate that. So it's the same thing, blueprint underscore grip underscore grip. grip. Okay, now the scope, and I'll fast forward a bit so we can just get this over with, but yeah, we'll need to do this for each thing. Alright, so I've completed all those blueprints. Now we can go into each one of these little sub ones. Long range, hollow, red dot. Is that... yeah, perfect. Okay, so we'll open those up. And actually, before we open those up, let's set some parameters in the master one here. So if you want a system where like attachments actually affect like the parameters of your gun, like how much damage it does, the range, all that kind of stuff, I think the best way to accomplish that is with data assets specifically for the attachments. So basically what we did in the last video, we did all of that for our weapons. So basically repeat that process for just your for your attachments, and then in this master attachment class, you would add the data asset that you made for that, the primary one. Whoops, I made an event dispatcher by accident. So yeah, if that's how you want to do it in your game, that's great. That's how you would do it. But for this, I'm just going to keep it simple. All right, so in this master run, we need to add a static mesh, and which will be the attachment mesh. All right, and then after that, we're going to add a variable, and it's going to be a gameplay tag container, which will be a gameplay tag container. Okay, and we're going to hit compile, and stand by. My light died, so here I am. Anyways, all right, so the next thing we need to do, obviously, so we just added our gameplay container. Over here, we need to add attachment, just as like the base one. Just let them know that this is an attachment. And then we're going to go into these sub ones and just add that it is these specific ones. Okay, let's do that right now. I don't need to add any more gameplay tags, I believe. But one thing we actually do want to do that I didn't realize before is on attachment, and on each one of these we're going to add a sub tag, and we're going to add attached to it. And the reason we're doing that is because we need to tell the engine that, well, we need to tell, basically, if we've attached any of these particular things to a gun, we want to set this so that we can run specific events. Attached. Did I spell it right? Good. Okay, another one here, add subpig, attached. And last one right here, add subtag, attached. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's just edit all these ones now. This is all the ones that we need inside our master for now. So we'll hit compile, and now we'll go to our compensator. We will select our static mesh as the compensator 1, and then we should have inherited the gameplay tags thing here. Maybe I have to hit compile. Do I have to hit instance editable? That's what I do. Instance editable, barrel compensator, or just in class settings or class defaults. Here we go. Class defaults. Up here, here's our gameplay container, and we're going to select this as a barrel. And I believe that is all we need to do. Yep, so we'll hit compile, and we will do that for all of the meshes here. So the attachment here will be a barrel for the silencer, and we need to open the full blueprint editor to tell it that the mesh is actually the silencer. Okay, let's hit compile, and basically repeat all this for all of them. So grips, this will be a grip, and we will open the full thing and add another mesh. This is the grip. The grip. There it is. All right, so yeah, just repeat that, and I'll see you guys in a second. All right, so we're all done here. Oh, did I do the wrong one here? I did. Scope number 1 is what I want. There we go. So yeah, you guys should be all done here with all your things. We just updated the mesh and the gameplay containers, the gameplay tags in each container for each one. So we're going to exit out of that now. Next, we're going to do some work inside our weapon, and then by the end of this video, we will be putting the weapons in the world here, and we will be actually being able to set all the attachments on them here. So first things first, let's go into our weapon class. We do need to add a bunch of variables here. First one is going to be a Boolean called can be picked up. I had a hilarious interaction on one of the FPS games I made a couple of years ago where I didn't have this Boolean, and an enemy was shooting at me, and I just walked up and just took the weapon right out of his hands. It's like, pick up weapon? I'm like, sure. Yoink. So yeah, obviously that'll be as default, that'll be true. And we will turn that off when we are dealing with our weapon itself, when we have it in our hands or an enemy has it in their hands or whatever. Okay, so we'll have that one. We'll add another one, and we'll call it current ammo. And this will be an integer. We're going to do our ammo system as a part of the, as all integers and not floats, just because we don't need that decimal point. Okay, and we're not making one for max ammo, and the reason for that is because we want each gun to retain the amount of ammo that it has. Like, so if you fire 10 shots out of your assault rifle and then drop it and then come back later and pick it up, we still want those 10 shots to be not in the magazine. So we're going to store that value specifically in the weapon, and all of our actual ammo reserves we're going to store in our player, because, I mean, if you think about it logically, if you're a soldier, all of your ammo is on you and not on the weapon itself, so that's what we're going to do when we're actually doing the ammo system inside this game. Alright, we're going to create a couple of socket names. So we'll do scope socket name, and we'll make that a name. And we'll just create a couple more. We'll do the sight socket name, the barrel socket name, and grip socket name. All right, let's compile and let's actually name all these. So this will be what you named in the last video, all of the sockets that I told you to name all the same. So the scope socket will be scope socket. Compile, and then sight socket. Barrel socket. Hopefully I spelled barrel right in the last video. Grip socket. Okay, those are what all of those are named. We also need to, why don't we actually put these in its own category here. Category, we'll just call it sockets. And then this one we can just drag into the sockets here. Same with this one. And then it just is going to keep everything a little organized here. Okay. All right, up here in the components, we need to add a static mesh, not a the skeletal mesh, my apologies. Skeletal mesh, which will be the weapon mesh. Okay, so we're going to do the weapon mesh, and we're going to set that in each one of our weapons. So let's go into each one of our weapons now. And we need to open the full blueprint because we got to set the weapon mesh. So this is the sniper. There's the sniper rifle. And any of the other variables that we need to change. Yeah, this will be instance. These will all be instance editable, except for. Actually, the tags as well will be instance editable. Actually, no. So yeah, these two should be instance editable so that we can actually set them. Did we compile? No, we didn't. There we go. Class defaults or class defaults can be picked up. Current ammo. Obviously, we will want that to be, I don't know, 4, whatever the max ammo is for your guns that you decided. So I'm doing the old classic Halo sniper, the 4 shots. Okay, and then the SMG, same thing. Weapon mesh, P90. And for the class defaults, current ammo 45 for me. Weapon mesh, skeletal mesh for the shotgun. Shotgun? Oh, is it not called shotgun? What is it called? Skeletal mesh. Pump. There it is. And it's class defaults. Current ammo 8. So I'll skip ahead. You guys get the idea. So I'll see you in a second. All right. So now that we're all done that, let's start doing the scripting for attaching all these to our weapons. So so just a fun note here: if event tick is ghosted out like this, that means that it doesn't run it. But as soon as you actually click on it, it actually is running a little bit of overhead. So just delete that. Just get rid of that. Don't even bother that event tick overhead. Don't want it. All right, on event begin play, we want to get a reference to our player, and we're going to accomplish that with an interface. So we're going to go to the, actually we don't have a folder yet for interfaces, so we'll do in here, new folder, interfaces. We're going to open that up, and we're going to make a new blueprint interface. We're going to call it player ref. Well, we'll call it BPI player ref, but I'll put that in first. BPI player ref. Okay, we'll open that up, and we'll call it player ref. And we're going to add a couple things here to the outputs. One will be the player itself. player, first person player, is that what it, yeah, first person character. So this will be the actual character that you are referencing, whether that's the first person character in this template or whatever other character that you've created and are using. I'm going to create another one. This is just to keep it nice and clean here, the anim instance. So we will plug in our animation instance from our arms, so that, pardon me, not arms, anim instance? There it is. Object reference. Yeah, because we're going to be referencing our animation instance quite a bit to like change our hand positions and stuff, so this will just keep it nice and clean. I'll add another one that'll just be our arms mesh. So this will be a skeletal mesh component actor, or object reference, pardon me. I'm also going to add in the gameplay containers. Gameplay container. And that will be a gameplay tag container. And just because we're going to be referencing our gameplay container all the time. So let's hit compile. So that'll be the player ref. I can probably rename this and just call it refs. That's actually what I'm going to do, because I'm going to rename. I'm going to be using this quite a bit. So let's just say actor refs. Okay. All right, let's open up our player and implement this event here. First person blueprints, first person character. We'll go to our class settings. We're going to implement this interface. BPI actors ref. We're going to hit compile. We're going to go into our interfaces. And now we're going to plug all this stuff in. So we're going to reference to self to start for our player, and that'll handle that one. Let's get our first person mesh, and we'll plug them into arms. And then we'll also get the get anim instance. And that will get our animation blueprint instance that is attached to our arms. Okay, and then of course we'll get our gameplay container and plug that in. Okay, all right, from event begin play, we are going to set some static meshes up. So the first thing we're going to want to do here is we're going to get player character, and then we are going to get our player ref that we just made. And we got access to all this stuff here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to set the transform for the weapon spawn. So let's just create a variable called weapon spawn location, or transform I should put. And we'll make that a transform. And we're going to get our arms mesh, and we're going to get world transform. And then we're going to set this transform. See why I did that? Now it's way cleaner doing it this way by just adding these extra ones here to this reference. Okay, after that we are going to need to check if our weapon even has the sockets that we need to attach meshes to. So we're going to do a sequence here, and we will do, let's do the, what order are they in up here, sockets. We'll do the scope first. So first we're going to grab our weapon mesh, and then we're going to check, does socket exist? And the socket we want is the socket name for scope socket. Okay, we're going to get a branch from this guy, and we're going to plug it in. So obviously we're going to run this check. If it does not have the socket, it's going to run out of false, and we're not going to do anything in that case. We're just going to go to the next sequence execution pin there. But if it is true, we're going to spawn an actor. Spawn actor from class. We are going to promote this to a variable, and we're going to call this the scope mesh. Okay, and we are going to make sure that this is the class reference of BP scope. Oh, come on. BP scope. Where is it? Scope attachment class. Change that variable. We're going to click on scope mesh, and we're going to compile it, obviously. Oh, it doesn't have a transform, and that's fine. We'll plug in our weapon spawn transform. These are all going to be the same, and then we're going to set the location as the socket location. This is just basically to getting it all together in the same place. So we'll compile to get rid of those errors. But anyways, we're going to hit compile. We're going to go to scope mesh, and this is where you can select the mesh. So the reason we made all of those classes in the beginning of the video is because if you just had like actor here, you would literally see every actor in the whole game. So what we've done, obviously, is now we're only specifically selecting scopes and not any of the other attachments, because this is specifically looking for a scope. Okay, so it'll be much easier for you to just move up 1 or 2 or however many attachments you have in this particular attachment class than it would be to just scroll down through all, 20 or 25 attachments that you have in your game or whatever it is. Okay, so that's the benefit of doing that. Anyways, we don't want to set this here. We want to make this instance editable, and we want to make this exposed on spawn. So now when we place it in the world, in the details panel, we could tell it what scope we want to put on the gun, and same thing when we are going to spawn the weapon in our hands in a future video here. Okay, so that's all we want to do for that. We'll hit compile. Okay, and actually now that we have this scope mesh, we're actually going to convert this to a validate get, and we're going to make sure that this is indeed valid before we spawn it. In terms of like, does this have a actual mesh attached to it? Because if we leave this as none, this is gonna return an error that there's nothing in this scope mesh variable. So if it is not valid, we're just gonna drag out of here. We're going to get our gameplay tag container, and we're going to remove gameplay tag. And one we're going to remove is the attachment scopes attached. We want to remove that just in case it is attached for some reason, but we just want to double check that we don't have that scope attached to this weapon, because that will obviously have some repercussions later. Okay, so I don't think we need to do anything here. No, we don't. Okay, so that's all done. We just need to actually attach this mesh to the scope socket that we made in the last video, and then we need to add the gameplay tag that we did attach the scope to this particular weapon. All right, so we are going to drag out of return value here, and we're going to attach actor to component, because we're attaching a blueprint to a component, which is going to be our weapon mesh up here. Okay, so that's the one we want. So we're going to grab our weapon mesh, and we're going to drag that into the parent. And then we're going to drag out of socket name and drag that into socket name, obviously. Location role, we're going to snap to target and weld simulated bodies together. Okay. Next, we're going to get our gameplay tag system here, and we're going to add gameplay tag. And we are going to add that we have attached a scope. Okay. That is all that we need to do, except we need to do that 3 more times now for the rest of this. So I'm actually going to highlight all this and just collapse this to a node, and just goes scope attachment check, we'll call it. And let's duplicate that, and we will rename this site attachment check. And we'll plug that in, and of course you need to do that 4 more times. Just make sure that you go in here and actually connect these to the output, so that we get this execution exit pin here. Specifically more important for the last one, because we need to exit. We're going to collapse all this to a node, and then we need to be able to exit that as well. So anyways, make sure you go into each one of these, and you change the socket name to be the correct one, which will be, in this case, the scope. And then this we're going to, let's duplicate scope mesh. Whoops, what am I doing? Am I pushing Control D? Oh, I can't duplicate it. So we're going to have to just make a new one, so you can see that it said scope attachment. So we're going to change this to the BP site attachment class reference, and this will be called the site mesh. So now we can change this one here, and the socket name will be site, and then we just need to change these containers to be, instead of scope attached, it'll be site attached. Okay, so make sure that you just double check and make sure everything has been changed properly, because we did duplicate it, so we don't want any errors later that we changed the wrong name or didn't change it at all, or whatever the case may have been there. Okay, so that's all good. I will see you guys in a few minutes when you have completed this task. Alright, so you guys should be all done here. One thing I want to point out, we did create these new meshes. Make sure that they are all checked instance editable and exposed on spawn, because I didn't do that when I showed you the site one. So just to make sure that we don't run into some errors there. Alright, this I'm going to collapse into another graph, like I said earlier. So we'll do collapse node, and we're going to call this sets attachment meshes and attaches them to weapon mesh. Okay, you can get it as descriptive as you want with those. Okay, so you see we have no execution out, so we just need to make sure that we plug into the end of this. Okay, so that's all done. The next thing we need to do is we need to tell the engine, now that we've attached all these, which aim type are we using? Are we using iron sights? Are we using sights or scope sights? So we'll do that now. We are going to get our gameplay tag, and we're going to drag out of there, and we're going to get has any tags. Okay. And the reason we're doing that is so we don't have to do this multiple times. We're going to drag out of other container, and we're going to make literal gameplay container. And now this is where we can set all the variables that we want to have in this gameplay tag system, or has any of these tags. So specifically, we're looking for the aim one. We're looking if they have a scope or a sight. Okay, if they have a scope or a sight, that means that we are going to run additional code elsewhere. If not, that means we're going to be setting it as iron sights only. Okay, so we will drag out of here and get a branch. Okay, if it is true that they have, or if it's, let's say not true. Let's just keep this not Boolean. So we don't have any of these tags. That means that we don't have... so, sorry, I kind of garbled together a bunch of words. I don't know if they made sense or not. So just to reiterate, we're making this literal gameplay container to make sure that we are checking to see if a sight is attached or a scope is attached. And we want it to be an exact match. And if we do have those tags in our gameplay tags container in our weapon, or we don't, rather, because I want to keep it clean, then we're going to come out of here and we're going to remove, pardon me, we want the gameplay tag container before we remove gameplay tag. There we go. Remove gameplay tag. And I kind of want to make an array. Can I do that? Can I drag out of here and go make array? Because you can't remove, you have to remove like all the gameplay tags at once. So what if I do it this way? So I'm gonna delete gameplay tags now, and I'm gonna get a for each loop. So sorry, this is if they are not, and then loop body we're gonna drag into tag. And then loop body will drag into here. Yeah, this is going to work. Okay. Literally on the fly, just like, hey, this will be a more efficient way to do it. Anyways, can I not make a gameplay tag container? Make... I can't freaking see because of that tool. Literal gameplay tag container. Or can I do that here? Make literal... That's so dumb. That is so dumb, dude. That is so dumb. So, I mean, the reason we're doing this, it's such a roundabout way. Like, if I drag out of tag and go make literal gameplay container like I did over here, it won't let me do more than one value. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why we can't do that. But we can do an append node to add a bunch of gameplay tags to one thing, but we can't do it for remove. I don't know. If you guys know the answer to that, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. But for now, we're going to do this, like, really silly thing here. Make 3 literal gameplay tags, or actually just 2, I think. Alright, so in these literal gameplay tags, we're going to remove scope, and we're going to remove iron's sights as well. Okay? The reason we're doing that is because I can remove this array element. Just in case we like somehow have it set, or we had another attachment on that had a scope or a sight, we just want to make sure that these are definitely not in our gameplay tag container. Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll attach this here. So we'll remove both of those gameplay tags, and then we want to add gameplay tag to the container, and it's going to be the iron sights, aim iron sights. Okay, so let's just collapse this to a graph because I don't want to deal with that. Sets iron sights, and we'll just make sure that that's plugged into the output. Compile. Whoa, 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 what happened there? Ah, you can't do that. That is super lame. I'm upset by that. I'm just trying to make it easier, man. Why can't we just do this? Okay, I guess we got to do it the dumb way. So let's delete this, delete this, delete this. Gameplay tags. We can just add a reroute node here and plug this into the tag container, and then we're going to remove gameplay tag. I'm so upset by that. That should not be a thing. There should be, like, there's got to be a way to remove a bunch of gameplay tags way easier than this. Scope, and this one would be sights. And let's drag into this tag container and just make this a bit neater. There we go. All right, I'm still really mad about that. I'm gonna hit compile, and it's all gonna work fine. There we go. Oh, drives me crazy. Anyways, so we've set our iron sights now. And so if this is false, if we do have one of these, then we're going to check again. We'll do one more check here for gameplay tags. We're going to check has tag and exact match. We're going to check, do you have a scope? Attachment. Do you have a scope attached? Okay, if you do, we're going to essentially, let's just copy this because then we don't have to do it again. And copy it again, and this one we're going to set scope, and this will be set sights. Okay, so in set scope we're gonna remove iron sights instead of scopes. Set scope, so we'll get rid of this one, and then we will go aim iron sights, and add gameplay tag will be scope. Okay, so that'll be that. We'll hit compile. Event graph, and if we have a tag scope attached, that means we are going to set scope as our thing. If not, then we're going to go into set sights, and we will get rid of sights, and we'll add iron sights to that one, and then we'll get rid of iron sights here, and we will add sights. Okay, just set sights, make sure that's all good, and we're going to collapse this to a node as well because this is ugly. Collapse to node, sets aim type. And we're going to make sure that this is plugged into here. ×3. There's just no way to make that look nice, I guess. All right, so we'll just not look at it then. All right, theoretically, we should be able to put some guns in here and set some guns in the world here. Click on here. There we go. Weapons. We'll do the. That is effing massive. Holy crap. Look at that rocket launcher. I guess we're going to have to go back into our weapon class. Weapons, weapon class. We're going to have to make the weapon mesh, the scale of it, like 0.3. That's hilarious how massive that was. Alright. Whoa! Did I miss one? I missed one. I'm not even going to put it on my other screen because I missed the Y. 0.3. There we go. Does that seem reasonable? Let's put the AK up there. Let's put the pistol up there. And the shotgun. And the sniper. Pull these out just a little bit just so the barrels are actually sticking out there. And the SMG. We'll see how that looks. Let's just preview it first. Those look like the appropriate size of a weapon. Not what we had before. But anyway, so now we can click on these, and over here, now we can set all of these meshes. So the scope mesh. So by the way, if like on the sniper rifle, we only added a scope mesh and a muzzle flash. So if you add sight, a barrel, or grip mesh, that's the beauty of having this node at the beginning where it checks, does this socket even exist? And if it doesn't, then it just doesn't even bother executing any code because there's no point, because there's no socket. So, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. But scope, obviously, we're going to do the long range scope on that guy. And the, let's do this one here too. Let's do the sight mesh. We'll do a hollow and a compensator and the regular old grippy. For that, the shoddy, where's that? I will do the flashlight. Sorry, grip mesh. Here we go. Flashlight. And I won't put a sight on that. That's good enough. Let's just have a look and see. We'll hit plus or play. And there's our weapons that have some stuff on it. The what's it called? The assault rifle looks freaking awesome. The sniper has the scope on it, and then this shotgun does not have the flashlight on it, and let's find out why. Attachment mesh, that was the issue, is I didn't flashlight. I didn't even make a mesh for it. So there, hopefully you guys didn't have that issue there. There it is. It's attached. Alright, so there you go. You have an attachment system that works with your guns. In the next video, I believe we are... Let's check it out here. We will spawn the weapons in our hand, and then we will also create basically default weapons that you can spawn inside the world, and you can change that weapon based on like the level you're on or anything like that. So some cool stuff coming down the pipe, and then we're gonna learn how to switch weapons, and then eventually pick up and drop weapons as well. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this video, and if you guys have any issues, let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe for the future of this tutorial series, and if you guys have any feedback, let me know. If I suck at something, just say, hey, you suck at XYZ. I'm a big boy, I can take that. So anyways, I really appreciate you guys dropping by, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.